I don't know whose idea it was. Stream this early. But I guess it was mine. Whose idea it was. Stream this early. But I guess it was mine. Whose idea it was. And clearly, streaming this early has had an effect. Forgot to do a few things that I probably should have, like streaming the countdown and turning the volume off in the background. And now I'm missing the chat. There, that's better. I hope. Oh, it's too early for this shit. And by early, I mean it's just after 8. So what we're here to do today is the last live episode of my Deadfire playthrough. From now on it will be I'll probably release episodes once or twice a week on YouTube directly. Probably shorter than the stream, like an hour each, maybe less. Because, well, I've heard it on good authority, have it on good authority that people don't really like watching really long episodes, which is actually true. When I was studying at Deakin, I did a subject about it, and so I've looked into that. And yeah, half an hour is probably about the best episode length people are willing to endure. endure. Anyway, let's get on with this. Let's load our game up, because I have been playing other games in the interim. You know, just a few games. Just a few. Anyway, I remember we were playing Melandra, who is currently Deadlight Court. Hey, have we just... We must be in the middle of doing Blow the Man Down. Or at the start of it, I don't know. So now we wait while it loads. I don't actually expect to have an audience today. Please forgive my blowing of nose stuff. You don't need to hear that. Okay, so I've had my breakfast, taken my pills, drunk my coffee. Now let's kick back and play some Deadfire. So what else? Well, I have seen some short videos and what have you of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Someone who's never played an Assassin's Creed game before, well, actually it's not true. That's not true. I played one of the it was Assassin's Creed Liberty, which was like a side game, wasn't actually a main game. Had a female protagonist. Okay. Yes. I must have done Blow the Man Down the other way. Everyone wants me to try from the... Yes, we have finished Blow the Man Down. It was the quest to take out Benwith. And I must have stole his ship. Yes, I stole his ship. Ah, so some things have actually changed because there was a big patch between my last episode and this one. For example, this indication here of the quest's difficulty. It says the quest is 1 level higher than your character's current level and may prove a bit challenging. So there will be some things that'll be more difficult now. Now we're going to go to Nekataka. We have at least 2 quests sending us there.
Right here. Was there something else you wanted? I got this.
Okay, so let us go out to the courtyard and then down to the docks. And then sail off to Nekataka. Yes, anyway, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This one actually lets you choose what gender character you're going to play. Even though they're fixed characters, they basically have 2 characters. One is male, one is female. You can choose between them. You don't have to swap. You'd make your choice at the start of the game, and that's who you play all the way through. There might be a few things that are different depending on I don't know really how they'd be different, but probably in attitudes of people and the way you can handle things. Different characters might have different reactions to you on the basis of gender, what I'm assuming. But yeah, I think I'm in love with the character Cassandra. Some people are comparing her to Cassandra Pentecost from Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't think they look much alike. They have different facial structure for a start. And yeah, they both have accents, but very different. One thing I'm rather impressed by with Assassin's Creed Odyssey is that they cast, at least for Cassandra, they cast a Greek actress. Considering it's set in ancient Greece. So it makes sense that you'd have a Greek actor playing a Greek character. Dunnage, I can go. Actually, I should probably go to Dunnage and tell Furrente that I've dealt with Ben with. So let's go up there. They've changed the way this works. So when my ship's stationary, everything else on the map is stationary too. So it has its advantages and its disadvantages. In that it makes it more difficult to accidentally engage other ships in combat, but it also makes it a little bit easier to track them down. And by little bit, I mean it's marginal. Here we are in Dunnage.
That
Did you
can't be
catch the
who I
new
think
play
it
by the
is.
peg leg performers yet? It's awful.
The Green Menace? That I did. Made me want to poke out my eyes.
Alright, so here we go. Want to talk to me?
Send me for a buttered slice of hardtack. It's you, ain't it?
Pale elf. Alandra, Captain of the Defiant, at your service.
Hang me by the thumbs. At your service, she says. I'll keep it quick, see? If your little dinghy has got some chase in it, I've got a list of captains with a black mark to their name whose ships need a quick scuttling. And I'm in the market for a scuttler.
Ah. She's offering bounties. You're offering me a bounty? Where do I start? What makes you think I'd be interested? I think about it. What makes you think I'd be interested?
Saying you're not. Me? I hear you dive at coin like my second husband to the bottom of a cask.
No.
Never mind where I heard it. I heard it all the same, eh? Word gets round faster than pox. So, we have a deal?
Where do your bounties come from? She takes a pipe from her mouth and glances away, sighing through her nose.
Better if you don't ask.
Why not?
Because the Deadfire's in a big, ugly power play, it is. And not everyone gets quartered for being in the game.
Mm-hmm.
One captain, she's a piece, standing 20 rounds distant from the real players. Another, he's a means to some unknowable end. Who's to say why they both need to die?
Gestures with her pipe in a broad circular motion.
And the type of clients he pays for the red worker scuttling. They don't blow the gaff to the elf.
She points first to you and then back to her before wedging the pipe back between her teeth. Oh well, what bounties do you have available?
Knew we'd be fast friends, I did.
She claps you on the shoulder and grins, her pipe wagging in her teeth.
You'll be looking to scuttle Cornu first, one of Rowatai's finest, eh? I don't ask my client what he did or what scale his death balance is. Safer to keep questions in the hold.
I'll take the bounty.
Of course you will. Knows a good opportunity when you seize it. Cornu helms a Voyager early muster in the waters north of Nekataka and south of Sayuka.
Before I go, I had some questions.
Avon?
Oh, no. Nothing else. Right. I'm just looking for, So I'm going to the Balefire Beacon to speak with, Furrente. First time I did it, I thought I had to come here, but no. Balefire. Oh yes, I should probably check to see what sort of character this is. I can remember what dialogue options I should be taking. If she's a paladin, that's important. Pretty sure she's a paladin. No, she's a swashbuckler, so she's either. Being clever and benevolent. Sleep by the looks of it.
Ahoy. Aye.
Ah, Watcher. Good, you have arrived.
Chin jutting upwards, he grants you a winsome smile. His left cheek dimples as the smile spreads to show teeth.
Ahoy there yourself, Captain. Or do I be but a pretty bit of man-meat to dangle from a wrist? As easily forgotten as set aside.
Arms akimbo and head askance. Seraphim smirks. Head askance? I've never heard that word being used in that context before. Okay. Furrente rubs his thumb over his golden swole net. Violent thoughts gliding over his face like dark clouds. Then he smiles, but it's a vicious expression more than a pleasant one.
A little seabird informs me that you have dealt with our mutual problem, the scoundrel Benuet.
His eyes glint as a fierce grin cuts across his face, and his lone dimple deepens.
Gelarde, for this you have my grandest commendation.
You'd have been right amused, you would. Few sights as fine as that hard-blowing three-sheeter getting what's long been doing.
Hands on his hips, Seraphim juts his chest forward, blue fur expanding it like a bird's plumage.
You are lacking in so many ways, my former ship hunter, but no one can say you are not entertaining. I myself would have enjoyed watching you put the scoundrel in his place.
I didn't bother with Benwith just for your praise.
No, as my memory serves me, you did not.
A flare of anger sharpens his smile and burns darker the colour of his eyes.
And as promised, I have prepared for you a fine prize.
With a sweep of his arm, he offers you a magnificent cloak. Cloak of protection. Which gives you protection against on fortitude, reflex and will saves by the looks of it.
However, there is another matter of which we must now speak.
Here we come. Here it comes.
I must confess to you a bit of a problem has arisen. One which speaks to your expertise with the supernatural. We've sighted the floating hangman that haunts the Deadfire.
Now, of course, I don't have any of these. So I've only got 3 for bluff and 5 for metaphysics and 4 for history. Wait, did you just say a ghost ship haunts the Deadfire?
Indeed, and I will say it truly again. This galleon, What likely remains of the Fonferros is a frightful legend. We have been losing ships at sea, Amica, and not to those Valera ship-hunting bastards. I believe the floating hangman may be our culprit. Fortune favors us, as I have procured a survivor from such a recent sinking. You will consider what she has to say.
Head craning abruptly to the side, he barks a loud order.
Come forth, Selenia. Quickly now, or I will run rivers of your lethargic blood.
At last, he smiles. Unblistered and raw-boned, the pirate regards you both with a discerning glare. She tongues a chapped bottom lip but keeps quiet.
Well, spit it out, Selenia, and try not to embarrass me before our guest.
Of course, Captain. It might have pretty hard near the end, but I spit the tale as best as I can.
The pirate touches the spot at the base of her skull and winces. She glances off to the side, eyes black and full of hurt. Furrente sighs and rubs tiredly between his brows.
Go on, Mom. Ready as I'm like to get me.
With a shiver, the pirate turns her black button eyes to you. I'll try not to press you to remember more than we absolutely need.
You aren't quite what I expected, Watcher. You're
She wets her lips.
kinder than most.
Selenia pointedly avoids Ferrante's gaze, a grimy hand scrubbing at her mouth.
Saw my old crew slaughtered me, my best mates, and even a few I hated. They weren't but blood and meat in the end. It branded the back of my eyes that moment. High seas, nothing but blue all around. Then, mist so thick you could taste it. Ships sailed from within. Out of nowhere was a hunt, not for loot, but for bodies. The ship, it looked...
She gropes at her hip, but there's nothing there. Fingers fumbling at the air, she bares her teeth.
rotted. The crew, they were all undead. Couldn't stop them from boarding. Couldn't kill them. Couldn't even fight them in the end.
Tell me about them, the undead.
They were dreadful. Some were clothed, like maybe they'd only recently died. Others weren't more than moving bones. One was different. Her presence was overwhelming. Heavy. Flames burned in the place of her eyes. The crew shambled hard to do her bidding, even the ones who seemed hardly aware. Figured she was the captain, me.
She shrugs, gaze going far away.
There is a flag the floating hangman flies. A flag that once heralded the Fonferros of Old Valia. It belonged to our Darkotsi paladin of some legend, one Lucia Rivan.
Hey, when I play paladins in this game, I usually play Darkotsi.
But Selenia's knowledge is limited in this regard. Let us instead ask her of a subject she may know.
How were you taken by surprise on the open sea?
Me and my crew were adept. Alert. Always. No. Weren't no one gonna get the jump on us. Was some magic foul. Just sudden like, the winds died, the waters fell flat and the air got heavy. They turned sky and the sea both against us. Then this thick fog roiled up at midday. Without a sound, the Spectre ship
She glides her hands in the air.
skimmed right out. It was too late. We couldn't outsail it.
When did this happen? She ruffles her hand through her short hair, scowls.
Dunno me. Drifted for days, maybe longer. Kept winking in and out after I ran out of drink.
One of mine found her no more than a week ago. Malnourished, dehydrated. The poor girl was scarcely able to speak.
Well, I'm more than able to gabble now, aren't I? Could sail, too. No, you got no reason to keep me.
She flips her hands over the softness of her shirt. Again, her fingers hesitate close to her hip, the fabric crinkled there where a pistol might normally be strapped. Muscle ticks in Ferrante's jaw, but he otherwise ignores her.
Perhaps there is something else you wish to ask of our guest before she departs from us.
You are an asshole and I really don't like you. How'd you survive the attack?
Calling me Craven? Huh, sure, I am.
She snorts, rubs at the back of her head, rough like she needs it to hurt.
Took a knock-in and I was out for a while. When I came to, they were eating Ganasco, our steward. I dropped a dinghy and rode for it. Don't know why they didn't give chase. Don't much care me.
Oh, you're alive to tell the tale, which is important. Linnea cuts a glance to Furrente for confirmation. When he dismissively waves her away, her black eyes narrow and she raises her chin defiant. But then he turns his full gaze to her, suddenly seething, and she shrinks in on herself. Fist shaking at her sides, she reluctantly retreats.
She belongs to Aldys, who undoubtedly will come to claim her soon. But that is a problem for another time.
Furrente sighs.
One moment, Watcher.
The captain scowls at Selenia's retreating back, a dark anger warming his cheeks. Dare and be damned, Captain, as I believe you told Selenia. Spit it out already. He grins, wild and roguish. Minor positive reputation. With the pirates.
Looks like we'll be making a salty grog-sucking cur of this one yet.
I'm a swashbuckler.
Mind the manner in which you address me, ship hunter.
The mirth evaporates from his face.
Allow me to cut to the heart of it. Lucia Revan, whose flag flies atop our spectral ship, was a Dakotsi paladin who died more than 200 years ago. It is my hope that uncovering the details regarding dear Revan's fate in life may illuminate the nature of her undeath and how to defeat her galleon. Unfortunately, the only soul who could possibly shine more light on our situation lies buried deep within Nekataka. One Isir the Berethian, now well rotted, I presume.
Who is this Isir the Berethian?
Regrettably, I know little but this. He was an Adiran warrior priest of Bereth, and a significantly fervent one, if tales are to be believed. He chased our Dakotsi to the Deadfire, hunting her to, well, to her death. Shortly after slaughtering our brave paladin, the priest died, possibly of sickness, or perhaps from a festering battle wound. He was entombed in honor of his service to Bereth in Nekataka's sacred stair.
Do we know anything more about Lucia Revan?
By all accounts, our Revan was a Darkotsi paladin who sailed to the Deadfire in order to safeguard a royal weapon of Old Valia. She is the epitome of Grand Valia, of magnificence, honor, and duty. Living or undead, she strives still to serve her charge. And yet, we know not why, but a Berethian priest called Isir opposed our Revan, and fiercely. They fought to the death, Revan's to be precise, in this very archipelago. Along with her life, Revan lost the sword she had sworn to protect.
He traces a dreary line down his jaw.
It has, lamentably, remained unfindable since. I believe it may be why she searches the seas yet.
I take it you have a plan.
Indeed, I do.
He flashes you a devious grin.
Though I and mine cannot so openly venture into the depths of Nekataka, nor can we commune with the dead, you, Watcher, are adept in both of these areas, correct?
Oh, you know.
You must search the temple of Bereth on Nekataka's sacred stair. Isir's tomb within it should contain a chronicle for how and where he slayed our paladin, Revan.
I'll see what I can do.
Gelarde, do return when you've any lead that may navigate us to where the floating hangman anchors. I will be waiting.
He nods cordially in dismissal. And once I leave, I am about to get an invitation to go visit Aldys. But she's after the floating hangman too. And both of them want the floating hangman because they think it can lead them somewhere that's impossible to get to at the moment. You received an important missive from Captain Aldys. Read. So, you had a little run-in with Ben, and then you dragged it to my doorstep. You could have wiped your feet before you stomped in, but I digress. I know what you did, and I know who you are, and unlike my unfortunately blockheaded second-in-command, I recognise the threat when it smacks me upside the head. So, this is me, Captain Aldys, commander of the God's damned New Blood Principe, leader of the second largest fleet of pirates in the God's fucking Deadfire, inviting you, a terrifyingly powerful and strange watcher, to come and meet with me under the strictest parley at Fort Deadlight, which is to say, I promise not to gut you when you arrive for dinner and drinks. Looking forward to having a little hearthside chat. I would like to offer you a partnership of the most glorious and goriest variety. I scratch your back, you gut my enemies from hip to jaw, we laugh at their deaths over the bottle of finest rum. Oh, and when you come, bring some candied nuts. Your newest and dearest friend, Aldys. P.S. This is not a trap. This is not a trap. I think everybody has laughed at the "this is not a trap." Oh, well, that's an interesting thing. Now, do I have any candied nuts? Do I have any nuts at all, to be candied or otherwise? No, I do not. One of these days I will actually go there with candied nuts. See if it makes any difference to the conversation. Well, look at that. So, they change things. So this is a hairstyle, right? And now when you put the hat on it, you can actually still see it, which is one of the things that they did in the last patch. Because it used to be that would just basically cut your hair off, as if you weren't wearing any hair. You had no hair, or it was really cut short. Anyway, we got... like I've been rather successfully attacking pirates. Okay, so no candied nuts. Do I want to go straight back to Deadlight or not? Well, I'd ask my audience, except I don't think I have one at the moment. Hello, if anyone's actually watching. Have a look at this map. There's Nekataka. There's Sayuka. So my bounty's sailing somewhere between those two. That's Port Marger. Okay. Okay, so this is the other thing they've changed, so that you have this little guide at the side here. Tell you what everything is. Okay? I get key. It's a key. It's a key. Save this here. Head into Fort Deadfire.
You're the captain who Aldys invited to parley, ain't you? I'm to keep an eye out.
Taps a finger beneath his one eye that isn't covered by a black patch.
It's so I can provide you an escort when you arrive.
Lead on.
Right this way, Captain. It's my pleasure to show our honoured guest around. Aye, it sure is.
So off we go.
You must be Captain. Glad you could make it, Lovesome.
The battle-hardened captain rubs the underside of her chin as she regards you pleasantly. Her mist-coloured eyes, one raven-wing black, the other icy blue, rove up and down your face.
Like what you see?
A golden swolnet gleams against the scarred skin of her chest. When you notice it, she flips it to reveal the mark of her status on the other side.
The mark on this side, it means I'm the second highest rank on the Council of Captains. I'm but one chair below that cockrot Furrente.
She grins.
Now, I know I offered you a full parley, but I'm a pirate, which means I'm loyal to my crew. But otherwise, I lie whenever it benefits me. You killed my fourth chair, and a damn good friend. A part of me might be impressed, but a part of me wants to flay the skin from your face. Understand? If you've an explanation, I'd advise you to give it up real quick.
Despite the violence swirling about her words, she purses her lips, eager for your answer. Let's see. Can't fault me for defending myself. Yet coming, fourth chair, or what? Show her the swolnet. Had a dispute between pirates. You had a dispute between pirates.
So you settled it, as pirates do. Suppose I can't fault you for that. Still.
Her lashes lower over her blue and black eyes, fanning like dark feathers atop her cheeks.
You cut off my right hand. How do you plan to replace it?
I'll take Benwith's seat on the council.
Only so long as you're loyal to me, you will. But someone's got to fill his seat. Suppose you were to throw your weight behind mine. I think you're seeing the way of things. How we might come to a beneficial agreement.
She winks her blue eye, flicking her swolnet on the end of its chain.
Now that we've got that out of the way, I'll admit, I really like you, Captain. You got guts. And not just smattered in your hair. I'd like to make you a deal. Forgive me for dragging you all this way, but I find the proposition of a partnership best works in person. Me and mine within the Principe would make for powerful allies on your side. But would you give us loyalty in return? That I'd like to know.
Of course, if we formed a partnership.
Suppose we've to give each other a test. Make sure it's a good fit. Say you wanted to entice an alliance of like-minded captains. You might start by aiding one of my best in Nekataka. She smuggles through the Undercroft. Goes by the name of Mad Morena, she does. And let me tell you, Dove, she's earned the moniker.
I get to do grunt work for another captain. I can't wait. Her expression shudders and she crosses her arms over her chest.
We don't all start at the top, Dove. You might be a captain of your own right, but if I'm to spill blood for you in battle, I want to know you're also loyal to me.
Fair enough.
You've a bright future ahead of you, Watcher. See that you don't tarnish it by flying the wrong pirate's flag. Out with the stale and in with the new, eh? I know you've met with Furrente, that you may even be working for him. That pribbling cock-rot.
With a flick of her fingers, the captain swipes a goblet of God's killer rum off her desk. Takes a long swig before pointing at you.
But that doesn't mean you can't partner with me instead. Don't do anything to let him catch on. Just keep me appraised of certain future events as they shape up.
You want me to spy for you?
How clever you are.
She waggles her brows cheekily over her mist-coloured eyes.
No need to commit to it now. You just think on it the next time you're toiling for a man who'd happily gut you. After you've done his bidding, given half the chance. When the time's right, we'll set our strategy. For what can I do you, Lovesome?
Tell me about the new blood in the Principe.
We're the future, and we ain't going nowhere. We're pirates, Lovesome. We own this sea, and the sea loves us back in her twisted way. Furrente pines for a homeland he's never seen. But what does old Valia mean to me or my crew? We're not Valian, and we never will be. Though if you're Valian and you want to join our bloodline, you're more than welcome.
But weren't you founded by refugees from Old Valia?
Generations ago. And I grew like a weed in the deerwood, you see? You say Consueglo me casitas. I say Council of Captains. You say Principe. I say best pirates in the Deadfire. You say Swollenet. I say, well, some things stay the same.
She flicks the gold coin and laughs heartily. So, what sort of things do you like to do in your leisure time?
What? Like for hobbies?
Her eyebrows dance up to her hairline and she laughs loudly.
When I'm not out plundering the seas, I'm right here ruling my fleet. Suppose I like a good bit of target practice. And of course, who doesn't like rum and a hot bath? Don't guess you like the same?
I hate shooting, drinking, and being clean. Yes, target practice. What the hell? That's diplomatic and aggressive. That's rational and passionate. Oh! These are kind of like the opposites. Shady and clever. I hate shooting, drinking, and being clean. She narrows her eyes, unsure whether or not to laugh, but then a wicked grin spreads across her face as she wets her lips, gaze locked with yours as she takes a long drink from the goblet of rum.
Perhaps I can show you the beneficial qualities of each later.
Farewell. Funny. It's also it's difficult to sort of really
I got this. Isn't this something? This calls for a subtle touch. I see where you're there. What did I tell you?
Northern ramparts. That's the court.
Give me a real check.
I'm guessing that's her private quarters. Okay, neither of them are a great choice, to be honest. Let's see. I'm 8 here and I'm a hunter. What else? Rapier. I recruit Murky already. Right. Yes. Patch would have been in last time I played. Off we go, back out to the docks, off to Nekataka. Okay, now we will go to Nekataka. Gonna get a cutscene. Oh, I forgot, I'm still flying Principe colours. Might have to make sure I stop before I get there. Change my flag over. And here we go, the cutscene.
The ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000 bells ringing all at once. You feel a resonance in your core, a bell ringing in tune with all the others. Something in you bends, then breaks, and you are borne away on the ringing tide, just another peal among the many. The tide of bells recedes. You lever yourself up onto your knees and realize you have been here before. You stand in Bareth's realm. You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Bareth, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Bareth settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
He's stomping around the Deadfire, yanking up souls like a giant Ardra soul magnet.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the Beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Bareth dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodika strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Bareth? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodika's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodika, with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodika steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
Casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight from the corners of her eyes.
A moon would do the job nicely.
Given her relationship with the moon, I doubt Andra would approve of that plan.
Wodika throws her head back and laughs. The sound is a dry, rasping bark.
Andra could do with a new act. Her current one has grown rather stale.
Where are the other gods?
They see to their own affairs. You will speak to them in time, should you have the need.
The figure beside the aspect of Bareth flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
What kind of precautions do you suggest?
Magran looks at you as one might a wayward gob of spit on one's shoe.
It is no business of yours what the gods decide.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes. Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide.
I'm not going to make that suggestion, so I'm going to say nothing.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys's return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wetica suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who wiped dear desperate Aldys' mind. You could have let my followers help her kill the man who tormented her. But you did not. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Yes, he's trying to needle her.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Attempting to end Aethys may only make things worse.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Aethys has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault. However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice.
Then what's the point of this exercise?
The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magran grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magran stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
Absorbed his children? Don't understand.
The Pallid Knight casts a cold, cutting glare in Magran's direction.
Magran speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Wetica waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys, other than decisive, final action.
No cause to act now.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted. We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
Yeah, sometimes the dialogue will have an extra bit that's not written down, so I sort of skipped it. Sorry.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
I think she actually cares what you say at this point. And say, I'll do what I can.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. Helpless to resist, you tumble into her impossible eyes. You fall wildly, endlessly, unable to find your bearings or slow your spin. And in the distance, above, no, behind you, comes an insistent ringing. You angle yourself toward it, searching for the sound. A small silver bell appears just inches from your fingertips. You reach for it, straining to still its interminable ringing. The moment you touch it, your soul slams into your body with all the force of a fall from the top of the sky. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin, alone.
This book ended with feeling alone. I guess if I was a watcher, I'd feel alone too. Let's see. Oh, I've got some stuff in here.
Watch and learn.
Fragments of the Blade of the Endless Paths and fragments of Whispers of Yenwood. Those are two swords from the original game. So you can forge them, reforge them separately, or you can forge them together to form a new sword. But both useless to her because she's a rapier wielder. It's too early. Elder Man, Aloth and Ida.
With every soul, my lantern's getting heavier and heavier in my hand.
How are you feeling? Have you suffered any recent nightmares?
They're there in my head when I sleep.
And this is a new thing that they introduced, which you see further back in the conversation. You can sort of, I guess, keep track of what you've been saying so that you can make choices consistent, I guess.
And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul.
Don't worry, we'll figure something out.
Will we? Ought we? I just don't know.
Pinching the bridge of her nose with dirty fingers, Jyoti sighs.
I trust you, Watcher. I swear I do. I worry sometimes about what's gonna happen to me. But, well, it's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me.
Aloth approves.
Tell me what's on your mind.
That's all for now.
I'm glad we talked.
Right. Just be pressing, getting on with it. But let's wander around the ship. Oh. Look at him, he's got his foot in a coil of rope. That's not a good place to have your foot, Seraphim.
If you be having a tick, Cap, I'll be thinking that, if I be dragging you into these depths, you deserve the full sounding.
It's about Romaro, I take it. I'm happy to listen.
When I were a wee swabby, fresh to the sea, it were Romaro that showed me the ropes and rigging. More than that, he, kept his weather eye open for me.
He plucks the fur at his elbow.
The sea be a right poxy ore on occasion, and life aboard the Sorcerer, that and more. Malnash, our ship hunter, she were all, wet and bothered for doing me harm, and Romaro. He protected me. Mentored me too, learned me letters and navigation, handed down the Principe traditions. In time, we became close as kin or closer. And the Sorcerer, my family.
How did Romaro end up in trouble with Principe?
Right, fantastic fucking question, Cap.
He scowls and plants a closed fist in an open palm.
Word out we're mutiny. But I'll be putting about as much stock in that as a dockside doxy for manners. Well, no, I don't normally be singing no praises of veracity, Cap. But in the matter of Romaro, I'll be hunting the truth.
You told me a lot about the two of you, but not much about him.
Fair. He be of old Valian stock. A good man and righteous. Not honest, of course, but honourable. Were our shipboard sawbones, and more than half handy at it.
He smiles and rubs his upper right arm.
More than one swabby behind the old salt of deferral from the wheel.
Were you romantically involved?
Why, Cap? You be feeling a bit of the old envy?
He grins, bumping his eyebrows twice in quick succession.
Nay, we never shared a bunk. Not that I'd have kicked him out of a hammock, but, like I said, we be family. He never took advantage.
Why did this Malnage want to hurt you?
Well, only knows, Cap. She treated me like my mere presence gave offence.
I promise we'll find him.
Thanks, Cap. I'll be holding you to it. Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
Let's see. Tell me about yourself.
I ain't no liar, Cap. Lies be for novices. Then I be possessing a mastery of the verbal arts. My tongue be the most flexible weapon in my arsenal.
He smirks. Farewell. Seraphin salutes and turns away. Ah yes, I was going to do that, wasn't I? Get the Durwood flag back. But surprisingly enough, if you fly Principe colours, you get attacked. That's shocking, I know. Let's see. Nekataka? Probably lock up, what's that? Fog rolls in. Out of nowhere, heavy fog rolls over the ocean, so dense that you cannot see more than a dozen feet out from you. With the fog's arrival, the winds die, the waves calm, and the Defiant is left aimlessly drifting, the only sounds that of the hull groaning as if in dread of what's to come. Eerie green lights pierce through the fog as the silhouette of a massive galleon approaches. Black sails, though tattered and rotting, catch in an otherworldly wind, slicing the ship forward at a rapid pace. The captain, a skeleton outfitted in tarnished armour with glowering eyes, surveys you from the quarter-deck of the decaying galleon. She wraps two fleshless fingers against her chest before pointing right at you. What the goddess of death has marked, I will leave untouched. She nods solemnly once, then with a tilt of her skull steers the ship away. As the floating hangman turns, several undead sailors shamble across the deck, hungry for a look at your crew. They scratch at the chipped and rotted railings, heads rolling on their exposed spines. The ship disappears back into the fog. A few minutes pass before the fog fully dissipates and the winds pick back up, rustling your sails. The sea is clear, empty. The other ship is nowhere to be found. Wow. Pretty scary. Unaffiliated ship. Hi, Bounty. That's not you. Somewhere up here. Show me what you have for sale. So we can go here and Okay. Now... the new thing, refill ship supplies. So now we can add some more food and water and stuff. Okay. So we have, that's Sayuka. So he sails between here and Sayuka. Cornu. Here we go. Now they've made this a little bit harder. He's level 6, we're level 5. Captain vessel approaches. Squint to the horizon, see unfamiliar colours snapping in the breeze. Makes no attempt to hail you. Not really easy prey, but yeah, okay. Yeah, that's... let's hope that this works. Could end up dead. Should have saved before I did this. So we're going to close to boarding distance and board. Here we go, boarding. Now this is going to be difficult, I'm sure. Not as easy as it used to be. Although I do have it on story difficulty, so that might help. Oh yes, there she is. Sailor, Chornu, Ranger, Fighter, Sailor, Chanter, Sailor, Fighter. Alright, let's see how this goes.
Show them how it's done. Absolutely.
Missed.
Well, we've got Chornu. So time to grab his Okay, so I guess that went a bit easier than I was expecting. Take all and continue. We pick up anything of interest. Bow, why isn't there a bow? She can have a I'll give her another pistol when I get one. No, I probably shouldn't be using it very often because I'm devoted, which means that I specialise in one weapon, which is the rapier. Okay, off to Nekataka we go. And off we go. Normally I pick up my phone and start reading for these loading screens. They are quite long, but I don't think it's a game at fault. I think it might actually be my computer because it's not just Pillars of Eternity that's doing this, it's World of Warcraft as well. So I have to look into that. And if I was more diligent at what I do, I would probably come in and edit out long break. As you walk down the dock, your approach is noted by a cadre of heavily armoured Almaua. The leader briskly leads them to intercept you. The harbour master looks you up and down with pursed lips, looks past you towards your ship.
You're far from home, farmer. How did you make it all this way in your little boat?
Your Almaua cranes a thick neck to look along the hull of your ship. Her expression conveys equal portions of incredulity and pity.
Why do we gotta be farmers just because we're from Deerwood?
Are you a farmer?
Yeah, but you can't just assume. We got rabble-rousers too.
Her attention returns to you. The Almaua's mood becomes more formal.
I'm the harbor master, Kauha. I must ask your reason for docking in Nekataka.
Do I really need a reason?
Yes, you do. You can't dock a ship in the harbor and have your run of Queen's Birth without giving me a good reason for docking here.
The women and men behind the harbour master set their jaws and straighten their backs as their leader's words. Deep within you, you feel an uncomfortable roiling. You can't be certain if the sensation is physical or spiritual, but it immediately induces nausea and fills your ears with the sound of blood rushing through your head. Cutting through the din, you hear a familiar woman's voice speak. Each word comes slowly, falling with what sounds like the chiming of a small bell.
Show them. Show them what you are.
Well, God's asking me to do it. Concentrate on folding the edge of the in-between. Close your eyes and turn your mind inward, blocking out the sounds of the harbour and this menacing pack of guards. Soon, all you can hear is a rushing of blood in your head and a muffled chime ringing somewhere far away.
Yes. Yes. That's it.
What's the matter with you? What are you doing? If you're trying to scare us with some cipher mischief, save the purple flames for the tribes of the Outer Islands.
The roar in your head begins to abate. The ringing of the chime becomes clearer, rhythmic, 2 successive peals followed by a brief respite. You realize the chime is ringing in tandem with your heartbeat. You open your eyes. The harbour master is gesturing wildly, presumably to get your attention, and yelling in your face, but you hear no words, only the ringing of the chime in your head as your heart rate slows and slows. Slows.
Now.
What? What is this?
Run for it! You got style, Cap. Worm-riddled, ship-sinking, flat-fucking freaky style.
Yes. Freaky style. Freaky style. Freaky style.
Watching.
Don't need any more cannonballs. Never hurts to loot all the barrels. I don't need cannonballs.
And now Port Marge is behind us. I thought this would be a relief.
Right, so let's talk to Aloth.
Thank you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others.
He gives you a grateful smile that fades almost as quickly as it appears.
I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative.
Are you still thinking about Vanessa?
I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same.
I thought we were friends.
You stood with me through more than anyone I've ever known.
He clasps his hands together, working his fingers into a tight knot.
But a lot has happened over the last 5 years.
So tell me.
After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key.
Leaden Key was an organisation that was bent on keeping the gods' secrets and I believe trying to make Wodaka the ruler of the gods again.
It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret.
He knits his brow. Seraphine's eyes closes and nods along, because worldly.
Trying to undo them.
Might as well start with the ones operating from the crystal waters and sandy beaches.
It does seem idyllic, but the pamphlets fail to mention the worm nests and sea serpents.
He pauses, the mirth draining from his face.
The task has been more difficult than I anticipated.
Listen.
I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make. Or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours.
Some way I can help?
I wish I knew. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations.
Maybe he had an address book. Too bad he burned his robes. He gives you an appreciative smile, but his mind is clearly elsewhere. So Ida, Seraphim, and Choti all like it.
Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. Aye, right home like it was.
Alot's expression shifts as Isilmir briefly emerges. He shares his body with another soul. And that's Isilmir. An elven woman, I think, from a very long time ago.
Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition.
He grimaces.
You got an eye for charming little towns, I'll say that much.
At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt.
Help them, right?
That's where it gets complicated.
He frowns at his interlaced fingers.
The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
He raises an eyebrow at you.
Wicked El Bunbag, 'tis what the lad means.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident.
And then?
The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little.
His lips twist as if the words themselves have a bitter taste.
Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week.
He's worked the edge of his sash into a tight knot, clenches it between pale, rigid fingers. Because the problem with a few dying every week is that soon enough there will be no village left. Now you feel responsible. Is that it?
I had to do something, didn't I?
He turns to you with wide, anguished eyes. He pauses again, untwisting the sash at his lap.
I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better.
I don't have an answer for that.
Then at least I'm in good company.
He gazes at the horizon, seeming to gather his thoughts.
Thank you. It's a relief to share this burden. You've given me a lot to think about.
Wait, you still haven't told me what the Animances have to do with any of this.
Ah, that.
He massages his temples.
I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but...
He breaks off, shaking his head.
I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
This isn't about your notes. You're second-guessing yourself. Again.
You know me too well.
All
the same, I need to gather my thoughts.
We'll talk more later then. There we go.
Ahoy, Captain. If I could bend your ear a moment, I'll be aiming to thank you for bringing me aboard.
A third hand at his belly, one heel out. He bows deeply, drooping ear almost touching the ground.
You run a tight shop, and you ain't no terrible person either. It'd be a welcome change from the gentleman of leisure.
I'm glad you're with me.
I've a gift for you. This trinket be from one of the first ships I hunted. Malnage would have snatched it had I not found a perfect hiding spot.
So where did you hide it?
I know were I to tell you that, you mightn't want it no more.
Seraphim gives an innocent whistle while scratching his arse as subtly as one could scratch it.
Just a jest, Cap. Nay, I tucked it away in my beard. Didn't wear braids back then, so my hair caught about everything from feathers to fish bones.
Oh.
Malnage shook me down for plunder after each raid, and I figured out she wouldn't go nowhere near my beard. Said my face were like a saw rip fetish.
Why did Malnage treat you so badly?
Don't rightly know for sure, Cap. Thought at first she wanted me. Lasses be that way sometimes, treating you worse the more they fancy you. Given she tried to get me killed twice within our first fortnight together, I thought mayhaps you were in deepest love.
So what was the issue?
As I said, I never rightly figured it out. It worked that I were all in, given she were too. Romaro said she might have been emerald green with envy, but I'll be well hisself if I know what's of.
He shrugs, his palms up and spread wide. Well, I think I understand. Half the time I want to throw you off the boat too. I'm not exactly going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You aren't exactly couth. You probably offended her. Maybe she thought you were a threat.
As a ship hunter, mayhaps. I've certainly outpaced her since, if I do say so myself. Mayhaps she saw that coming.
Thank you for the gift, Seraphim.
You be entirely welcome. Now, if you'll pardon me, I've roundabout reached my limit for sentiment.
Seraphim salutes, grinning broadly and turns away. And we got the Cypress Shackle, which is actually not a bad little item. So let's see who we're going to give it to. Cypress Shackle. I like the Wise Teeth. Gives me more constitution. Got his night mark. Pay for the chosen. Got an amulet of health. He's got nothing. Gonna take it for health. Might give him the tooths. That. Of course. Fire. And I'll take the miss. Actually upgrade these. Give 5% chance to more an attack. Yeah, why not? So it's lucky. Already got. He's got. So if we take it back an base armor rating, he tends to stay out of fights. Recovery time. So we'll just keep that. He's got his. Alright. Oh god. Oh. I'm sorry for all these yawns. Oh, okay. Now.
Need a fresh jacket or pants? Something more delicate? If you have a frame, I can fit cloth to it without fuss.
Taylor eyeballs your shoulder width, doing some mental calculations.
Take your time.
But
I'll give you space to browse.
And what we should do is actually go through, sell. Pieces? Off we go again. Like someone in need.
Where is my postinago of a brother?
Eh?
You there? Have you seen Lauro Badato?
Who?
Medico. Where is that spoiled brat?
A woman in fine clothes clutches a ledger in both hands. She searches the faces of passers-by, settling on yours with an uncertain frown. Are you alright?
I'm trying to be the responsible one in the family, and it's a heavy burden. Laro is past due for a company meeting. Mother wants me to drag the elusive louse back by his ear.
She tucks the book under her arm.
Must be nice to be a layabout. Uncle Angbert would have tanned my hide.
Fuck. I am angry and jealous in equal measure. You'd think this district was a maze, the way he manages to hide.
She glances over your shoulder and sighs, then looks back at you with sudden recognition.
The spirit magnet. Sientere, that I did not recognize you. If you desire to get in the graces of the Valiant Trading Company, we can help each other.
How can I help?
Could I persuade you to watch out for Laro? I'd pay generously for your trouble.
Using perception, I study her hands. Nera has been digging her nails into her ledger, leaving crescent moon-shaped impressions in the binding. She notices your interest and holds the book protectively close.
I'm concerned because Laro tends to feud with Orso, one of the local Valera rats.
What do you mean by Valera rat?
The Valeras. A brood of sea vermin playing at nobility.
She hefts her ledger as if to bring it down on a pest.
We squabble and compete, but Laro, the pastinago, takes it too far.
If I happen across Laro, I'll let you know.
Would you? I'll be waiting at the estate in case he happens to return.
Nera thumbs over her shoulder.
Laro and his miscreant friends carouse at the tavern, the falls above the Adra Mill, and the southwestern bridge. If you see him, tell Laro to get his good-for-nothing ass back home.
Well, we do have this thing with chasing a rogue god to the ends of Aora, but I guess if it's on the way.
This only goes at the speed of plot.
Sure.
Go. This is the Bardato. Right?
Have you heard about the commotion at the palace?
Of course. Something about Luminous Adra.
A giant made of Luminous Adra.
All I know is that they're all at each other's throats up there.
Well, that would be typical, given the political situation. Someone's coming. Save it here. Against the backdrop of jeering youths, a young woman raises her arms with an air of practiced drama. Before her, two men stand across from each other, mirroring scowls.
You both attest that you have made all possible efforts to come to a peaceful...
The woman trails off as you approach, and you find yourself the sudden target of the crowd's attention.
Who is this Nasenale? How many cousins do you have, or so?
Laro chuckles.
Postenago. Does that look like any cousin of mine?
How should I know? Your kin lie with eels.
Also glares at Laro and bites back whatever insult he had at the ready.
We have business. What do you want?
I'm here to fetch Laro. Nera's looking for him. A few chuckles arise from the bystanders, and Laro's face flushes with embarrassment.
The family keeps you on a tight leash, Laro. Will getting impaled on a Valera blade prove something to them?
Psst. What's your words of? You want the Juana to know we're dueling?
My bad so to the tribals. We should be free to settle matters on valiant terms.
Also glances in your direction with annoyance.
Small wonder the old empire collapsed in civil strife if this is the Valian way.
He sneers.
And how do your colonies fare, Adira?
Laro, what say you?
We are civil enough to kill each other without making an incident out of it.
I suppose you have a good reason for this duel?
This street thug called my family a warren of corrupt inbreds. But is there a dung heap in all the world that does not have a little Valera cousin scratching through it?
Laro opens his arms wide and smiles to the milling crowd.
That wolf he calls mother would have us live out our days polishing Bardato silver.
Also spits the ground between them. Is this slight worth one of your lives?
Ak, this is but one chapter in a long anthology of Bardato arrogance.
Arrogance? Per complancanet, you should thank me for my patience.
Does this have to be settled by death? Surely there are better alternatives.
Nothing less than the total disgrace of the Valeras would satisfy me.
Then you will die unfulfilled.
Also shakes his head and huffs. Anyone can kill. Fighting to first blood would be enough to prove who's the better man. The pair of duelists eye each other warily.
I was the one who suggested fisticuffs, but you were eager to cut me open.
To first blood, then. Shall we resume?
Here we go. Duelists square off and tentatively circle each other. Socky also moves with heavy strides while Laro takes precise, measured steps. Onlookers gather and press at the edges of the poorly defined arena. Their jeering lowers to expectant mutters. Duelists' seconds bring forth their weapons and take an opportunity to study each of the opponents. Be me? You note the sweat on Laro's upper lip and the furrow of concentration cleaving Orso's brow. Not quite sure what that's about. Find a better vantage point to observe the fight. You maneuver through the crowd with ease and find an uninterrupted view of the escalating conflict. Once the swords are delivered to their respective bearers, the seconds back away in melancholy silence. The duelists cross their swords and bow in salute. The tranquil moment ends with a burst of motion. Despite their difference in size, the duelists seem evenly matched. Also doesn't settle on an established form, but he keeps pace with Laro's aggressive strikes. I'm going to watch for a little longer without interfering. Also and Laro trade fierce jabs, giving up any pretense of playing to the crowd. A hard downward thrust sends Laro's blade clattering to the ground. Also hovers over Laro, a grin slowly taking form. He raises his blade and points it at his opponent's heart. This is supposed to be a fight to first blood, but mercy is the farthest thing from the minds of the combatants. Send up a distracting cheer. I can shout at the top of my lungs, "Stop!" I can wait and observe. I'm going to send up a distracting cheer. Orso's killing stab goes wildly askew, missing his opponent's heart and instead carving a long slice across Laro's cheek. Laro falls to his knees, clutching at his face.
Not so pretty anymore, Postenago.
Orso wears an accomplished grin. Laro, go find your sister so she knows you're alive.
This does not end here, Valera dog.
Laro wipes away a line of blood and casts it to the ground.
Just make sure the other Bardatos learn from your example.
Also nods and signals for his attendant to depart. Okay.
Right here. Be right there.
Oh, we've all gone up level. Let's level up. Alright, so she's got 1 point and everything. I'm going to give her another point and sleight of hand. streetwise. Blinding strike, which blinds an opponent. Of course, when I created this character, I didn't have as many Bereth's blessings. In fact, it looks like she hasn't got any at all. Like she was a naked character when I made her. So, Ida. Another point of athletics. Point of history. Take that, which is rapid recovery, which gives him more health. It recovers his health quicker. Combat. And duty. Good point. This is, and in streetwise, I'm going to be working towards having points in every one of the skills for my NPC companions, because that way they can help with everything. I'll give the Great Dire Blessing the buff, useful buff. Elof. One in alchemy. And one in survival. Survival. That. Alright. Displaced image. I'll give him displaced image. I'll do Draining Whip. And we're all leveled.
Yeah.
Go visit the Bardatos. sort of realised that I'd had my sunny visage over the characters. Oh, here he is, look.
My face still hurts, but not as badly as a sword through the gut.
It's good. No need to sound ungrateful.
Laro has returned to the estate intact. Perfetto.
Nero loosens her grip on the ledger.
Too much Bardato blood has been spilled in the name of Vengiata.
I get the feeling that there's still some unfinished business.
Ak, nothing has been solved, only delayed. Here, for your discretion.
She passes you a pouch of coins and adds a short mark to her ledger before snapping it shut. Gained 800 copper.
You have not met Mother, have you?
Nera thumbs her chin, leaving a spot of ink behind.
I'm certain she'll have work for someone invested in the family.
Alright, so let's go visit your mum, who I believe is in here.
Ah, yes. The newcomer. I thought you might visit.
Was formerly a gold-packed knight.
Lady Izali Bardato. Custom dictates, I say, at your service. But I have not the time for such lies.
He regards you with a cool expression, but stands with a fighter's poise.
You saw my son dueling with the Valera boy. At least he survives to learn from his mistakes. When Valera and Bardato cross each other, only blood and sorrow remain.
Zali sighs, her gaze turning away. Do you see your families ever making peace?
Perhaps in time, if great Wodika judges us worthy of supporting the company. Word has spread fast about the little spectacle at the docks. You've certainly caught everyone's attention. Perhaps the Watcher of Kadnua and House Bardato can help one another.
What is it you want?
Queen's Beth whispers of a Valera plot against my family. Something grander than pointless duels. You are a newcomer to the Deadfire, uniquely positioned to loosen Valera tongues.
Taps her chin and regards you thoughtfully.
Zilli Valera strums a lute by the watchtowers. A meek-tempered boy. Fonder of song and drink than the family business. He might spill something of his family's affairs.
Put in a good word for me with the Valian Trading Company and it's a deal.
I'll have it taken care of at once.
She dips a quill and makes a quick mark in one of her documents.
There. May it open doors for you.
Thank you.
Try not to alert the Valeras of our knowledge. That is the point of involving an outside agent.
Notice something unusual. Attention is drawn to Azali's desk. Among the sorted ledgers and documents sits a brass seal, still dripping with heated wax. The drippings have dried into an almond-shaped pattern which resembles the shape of an eye fringed with bird feathers. A nicetating membrane flicks across its surface in a barely perceptible wink.
Are you still with me?
Azali breaks your focus by waving her hand in front of your face. She glances between you and her tidy desk, frowning. Sorry, I lost focus for a moment.
Well, I will endeavor to hold your interest next time.
About this feud with the Valera family. Your family seems very well established here.
My bank shoulders the costs of the Valian Trading Company's operations in the Deadfire. It is said that no Valian may wipe themselves unless a Bardato signature approves it first.
If that's true, we gotta stop shaking hands with them.
I'm certain you've touched worse, farmhand.
Azali's mouth twitches, just shy of a smirk. Why are the Bardatos and the Valeras feuding?
Because we do not belong in the same business. The Valeras are opportunists reaping the rewards of happenstance. They're little better than the pirates they're charged with slaying.
Better is self-deception, mayhaps.
The pirate scoffs. About this feud with the Valera family.
Fratello doesn't make my affairs any easier with his wayward ambitions.
Azali motions for you to continue. It seems like a waste of your resources.
Doesn't it? This is no surprise to me.
Her eyebrows raise.
Fortunately, Atello has fewer resources to expend than I do.
And she's not going to be positively disposed to my next comment here. Would you be willing to speak with Atello?
Oh dear. You're serious, aren't you?
Excuse me. He stifles a chuckle.
You think I'd put myself in pistol range of that old imp?
Maybe I could speak with him on your behalf, convince him to see reason.
I think you overestimate how much of my trust you currently enjoy.
I had other
More
questions.
pleasant subjects, I hope.
Farewell. Right. So it seems like I'm destined to forever be distracted by other quests as we go along. Fortunately, I know where I'm going for this one.
Fuck, Captain. You eyeing that fresh shat bare paws lump of lumber yonder? That be the misery's delight. Malnaj's pus-stuffed canker of a boat.
He points wildly at a half galley docked nearby. Only 2 hands hold the deck. The remaining crew may be below decks, or they may be ashore. Let's hurry then. This can't be coincidence.
Malnaj be up in Romoro's head, or I've never had a roll on the waves. She finds him for us. She'll sink him soon as sighted. Come on, Cap.
He bounces on the balls of his feet. Sometimes the reaction...
Nice to see you too.
Telling me he wants us to go fast, I guess.
Be right there.
A Principe group notices you walking and approaches you in the street. Aha, it's Malnaj. Seraphin stops as the other pirates approach, his fists balled. The heat of his anger flushes your skin, then seeps beneath, simmering your thoughts.
Hold up, Cap. That be Malnaj, the High Queen Sea Devil of the Deadfire herself, awaiting us like a shark in heat.
Be ready for anything.
Always, Cap.
His hand hovers near the handle of his weapon. A flash of ice-cold loathing cuts through the heat of Seraphin's anger, threatening to wash you over. Visions come. Aching shoulders, aching wrists, aching ankles, bound and gagged, filthy rag in your mouth, soaked through and briny with every breath like drowning, hanging from the bowsprit, the rise and fall of swells, a sea spray, a chilling shock. Malnaj shouting from the bulwark. Ignore it, she says. Ignore it and focus, you useless sack of spider shit. Reality rushes back in like an approaching...
Captain, I've heard a mess and a half about you. Mostly good. Though I see your tasting company could use some refining.
The Orlan gestures to Seraphin with a smirk.
Typical Malnaj. Can't match my skill, so you try to spew shit.
Boy, when you're as old as me, your skill will still be naught more than the untrained fumbling of an Adeiran maid to the refined workings of my mind.
The sailors backing her chuckle. When you insult Seraphin, you insult me.
Apologies, Captain. Didn't realise you'd married your honour to this scallywags. You buy him, believe you me. I've heard about your run-ins with Captains Benweth and Furrente. Meeting the old Principe seems like. Almost makes a girl green. The envy of missing the party.
She grins, her mouth filled with sharp yellow teeth.
I'm tracking a man by the name of Rimaro. Traitor to the cause.
Of course.
Romaro ain't no traitor, you mind-blind sack of squid squirts.
Seraphin growls, fists tight and fur bristling. Feel the anger coil around him and spill outward, and your vision begins to swim. Come. A sharp strike against your cheek. Your head hits wood hard. The wet of something rolling down the back of your scalp, clamping in your fur. Malnage standing over you, bald like a flash like thunder and copper in your mouth. Then an old man, eyes equal part kindness and rage, hauling her back, shouting her down, turning to you, leaning in, the rage fleeing. The anger slides past and it resolves into Nekataka Street.
Captain, there'll be a bounty of some 4,000 pounds on Rimaro, quick or dead. I'd be willing to cut you 1/10 of that, here and now, if you give me any knowledge you might have stumbled across on your travels.
Glances again at Seraphin. Kindly fuck off. Malnage blinks and Seraphin chuckles quietly. Pirate's lips twist into a smirk, but her eyes narrow.
Careful, Watcher. You don't want to go making yourself an enemy of the Principe Sen Petrena. Anyone aids our enemies shares their fate, you know?
She draws a finger across her throat.
Fare thee well, Captain. See you around, Seraphin.
Turns on her heels and leads her crew away. Oh, I can't wait to kill that mind-blind sack of squids. One hour and 11 minutes to complete your journey from Nekataka Streets to Pariki's Overlook. So we're going to be meeting up with Maya and Palagina soon. Although probably not this episode, given there's only 6 to go.
You're a follower of the light?
The light? Oh, you mean... well, depends on what you mean by follow. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. It's about Shodi.
Okay, so he interrupts himself to ask me about her. Okay, what did you want to ask?
She means well. I can see that. And she's spirited, and if I was still young and didn't know the things I know, it'd be different. But anybody got that much faith in any god, let alone Aethys? I don't know how to talk to someone like that. Not these days. I get why she's like that. I mean, I was there once, long time back.
His eyelids flare with relived embarrassment.
But it's 'cause of that I can't see a way to respect it. I'm no good at hiding it from her either. I don't see this getting better.
There's more to her than you're giving her credit for.
Doesn't seem like she's any different than what she shows.
She's a Dawn Star, but she doesn't worship Aethys. She worships Gorn.
Same thing, really. That's just her trying to find a way to worship Aethys that makes sense to her. I guess that sounds familiar now that you mention it.
Maybe you heard earlier? I follow Aethys too. Mostly, in a way. I mean, I am a child of the Dawn Stars, even if firstly I'm a Gonite.
That's good, I guess. For you.
Oh, maybe you don't want to talk about it. That's all right. Surely some other time, then. Was it the way I said it? Or maybe I'm in need of a washing.
Right, so we want to go down here. To the luminous bathhouse. where we will meet with Undine. Undine? Undine? Something like that. Can't remember how it's pronounced. But that is pretty much all we have time for today. I'd chat to you if you were in chat, but seems like I was not visited today. But that's alright. Next time. So my next stream will be on Monday afternoon from 2 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then on Wednesday at the same time, 2 till 4. And next week on Friday I'll probably move it to 10 till 12 Australian Eastern Standard Time. 8 AM was just a little bit too early for me. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy. And I will see you next time.